Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Peak Efficiency Shipments towards the end of November 2025, updated for the 10th anniversary and all these economy changes. Of course, I need to do a Peak Efficiency Shipment. So some things haven't changed, some things have definitely changed. So featured shipments and weekly shipments, just so this is a complete video, I'll still cover every type of currency. I only pick up the ones every day with credits, or like every refresh I hop on and pick up the credits. Sometimes if you're really farming a targeted character, you really want to get the shards faster, you might use crystals for this, or a specific piece of gear, but in general, try to minimize that. Same with weekly shipments, it's just once in a while. They rotate what they're offering for ally points. Generally, these are a bad idea, especially now with the updates to the economy. I wouldn't buy Bronzium wiring for that many ally points. You want to save the ally points, open all the Bronzium packs, and then convert those shards to shard shop currency and buy some gear 12 gear. Also, not really digging the Zetas for crystals. It's not a common offer. You can't always get Zetas for crystals. There's just like a once a week thing and in the rotating slots. But, you know, in general, I don't. If you're end game and you are really low on Zetas, maybe you want to get that. I'm doing this from my mid-game GoTanks account because I think that's where most of the players that need help with the currencies are. But I'll try to cover both end game and mid-game concerns. So end game, I actually pick up the Omicron now. I used to just laugh and scoff at this high price tag of the get 3 currency, but on my main account, I don't really have any real pressing use for it, and I always need Omicron, so I pick it up with that. On this account, I'm not going to pick that up. Also on this account, sometimes I pick up the Omegas if I'm low, but I have 243. I'm not really low right now. Never pick up the Chirotex. This is a horrible deal. Horrible. And for the Galactic Legend tickets, you might want to do this. They're better for shard sharp currency though. So, and then the crystals are just kind of hit or miss on what you're needing, but most of it's kind of a bad value. Okay, episode shipments. So this is a big one that has a change. My store is not refreshed yet. I am recording this ahead of time, but this is the change. Someone on Reddit shared. This is what signal data costs. Right now, it's showing the green is the exact same cost per signal data as the light blue or the white or whatever you call it. Kind of weird. I don't know. It feels like it might be a mistake, but if that is the case, I would say only pick up the green and not the white. However, this is a lot of currency. And I'd only pick it up if you have extra to spare. On this small mid-game account, I don't have much to spare. What you want to prioritize for 95% of players is Omicron materials. When I was a Wii account starting out and struggling to gear up the characters I needed, I would buy Chirotek. I don't do that anymore. Once you're, and with all these tokens going around, I don't think you really need these as much. So I would say no on the Chirotek for most players, especially this upcoming year with all these quests where they're going to give you a bunch of characters at Gear 13 for free. Yeah, I'd say just stick to the Omicrons. Even if you don't feel like you need a lot now, you will eventually. Also, if you're a newer or small account or mid-game account, I recommend picking up any of the Focus Datacrons that cost 2,000. Because you can use them as a stat cron typically. I mean, this might change. Focus Datacrons are a relatively new concept. We've had 3 or 4 sets of them. But this is pretty cheap. 2,000, you get it to level 8. Use the stats, even if it's Jawa, and you're not going to use Jawas, you can use it with anyone for the stats. The 6,000, you got to be more choosy on. If it's really good stats, consider it. But only if you're really finishing that episode track. But you really want to prioritize the Omicrons. However, if you see something that's really going to help you, Focus Datacrons aren't a bad use. Mods, they're moving to the mod store, and I'll talk about it then. It's kind of really hit or miss selective. I wouldn't buy any gear with your episode currency at all. If you're really desperate for some of these characters, you might want to consider it, because it's just pretty cheap. But overall, I'd say no. Like, only if you're really desperate. I'd say no. I'd say no to all this mod stuff, just because the Omicrons are so important, and especially no relic pieces. Terrible. None of this gear. None of it. Just don't do any of it. No Electrum conductors. Definitely not micro attenuators. 4,000 is really expensive. The only thing I'd consider for everybody is Omicrons, signal data, and focus datacrons. After that, it's just unless if you are drowning in episode currency, so you're someone that buys the episode pass and you're drowning in it, yeah, I'd pick up the mod stuff. Probably don't need any characters. I'd look at mods themselves, buy all the focus Datacrons. But if you're a non-spender and you don't have the episode pass, really stick to Omicrons, maybe Signal Data. And the next brand new one, Era Shipments. So this is going to be highly variable for players. It's really hard to get anywhere in the Coliseum right now. We're only 3 days in for me at the time of recording this. I'm recording this about a week in advance. For any mid-game, early game, even beginning of the late game characters, I say you want to use it for these Lightspeed tokens. Only end game, go for a Relic 10. I don't think Relic 10 is good. The only value of it is Relic Delta, and you're kind of inoculating yourself against it from a player if you're the person that's down relics, you're kind of inoculating yourself against Relic 10 by just having Relic 8. I mean, not just Relic 8, that's expensive, but this is an extremely high cost. For the cost of one Relic 10, that's close to 14,000 of this. You could buy almost 3 Erodium Lightspeed tokens, assuming these stay in the store at the price they are. And, this might change, that might adjust things. You get close to 3 full Relic 5 characters at 6 stars, and it's right now, it's any character. Attacker, tank, support, healer. This is insane value. And not only that, if you want to just spend 1,000 at a time, this store refreshes weekly, so you have 1 week to decide. At max, you could get 8 of the Carbonite Lightspeeds in an 8-week period, in a 4-week period. So you either want to do the Erodium Lightspeed token. I'm tempted to do this because it's getting you to Gear 13. Gear 12 to Gear 13, huge bottleneck, and then a bunch of relics, which is Signal Data. It's relic pieces, which aren't really as big of a concern right now, but it's Signal Data in the Gear 12 to Gear 13 pieces. This one, it gets you barely any stars, so it's inconsequential the amount of stars you get. You get Gear 12, which is really good. For a new player, this is the way to go for sure, because you're going to get a bunch of Gear 12s, and don't think about PvP and Relic Delta. I know you're getting squashed with that. Think about PvE stuff. Think about Assault Battles. Think about Journey Guide. Think about Conquest, normal and hard, and just getting you to the point where you need Gear 12s. If you have no Gear 12 to Gear 13 pieces, you can barely ever get them, then you want to save up and get 1 Erodium instead of 5 of these. But it's just kind of per account. I think both of these are great value, either of them. It's just up to you. On my GoTakes account, I'm probably going to be waiting to get an Erodium Lightspeed bundle, because right now, if I were in a place where I didn't have any Gear 12s and I just was low on Chirotech, and I had the Gear 12 to Gear 13 pieces, but I just didn't have the character up to Gear 12 yet, maybe they need a lot of Chirotech, then I'd buy one of these. But overall, I'm going to be saving up for the Erodium Lightspeeds. Endgame, like my main account, the only thing valuable is the Relic 10 mats, but it sucks. Like, they're bad value, but it's just like you have to do it if you're endgame. Cantina Store, quick one. If you were just farming charge up currency, the most efficient thing is Cassian's Ewing. If you're brand new, or mid-game, pick up any characters that you actually need in this store. It's easy. It's not bad. Don't buy these mats. Don't buy training droids. If you're brand new, really new account, you can buy shipbuilding materials. Otherwise, just buy some characters you need, and then Cassian's Ewing for charge up currency. Guild Activity Store, long one. There's 4 different currencies to cover in this, so this will be a long segment. From this guild tokens, kind of like the OG guild currency, there are the little cheap pieces down here, which I think everyone would benefit from picking up. Most of which, it's not showing there right now, I have to show you in this, is the Mark 10 Blast Tech mods. So this one, if you ever see it, you always pick it up. It's highly valuable for the chromium transistor, carbonite, whatever, the transistors, the third one. It's really good for that. A lot of this is not bad value for the gear. I would say stick to the ones that cost $380 and $760. These are kind of like high demand pieces that are really expensive with guild tier 1 currency, so I like those to pick up. Also, if you're really lagging behind on mods, this is not bad value either to get 3 of these, so I'd say that's worth picking up. The only ones I say wouldn't really pick up are like, I think all of it's not bad. It's just really not that high stakes of a currency. Also, if you need characters, if you're new, yeah, go for it. It's not bad. Don't sweat it too much. Tier 3 raid currency. Endgame guilds right now are getting 8,500 per raid, so I'm rolling it on my main account. On this mid-game account, I'm getting 3,000 per raid. And then for small accounts, if you're doing the new one, you might get 1,000, 1,500 per raid. The good news is for a small and mid-game account, you're not as worried about this anymore. You don't need a ton of it. It's Relic 8 and Relic 9. Don't buy the Zetas. Just do not do it. It's Relic 8 and Relic 9. That's it. For a mid-game, small game account, I'd say pick up Impulse Detectors. Or Arrow Magnifiers, depending if you, like, whichever, you got to balance them. You can only upgrade if you have both in the same amount. So just try to balance them. When you have your mind set on a Relic 9, you can pick up the Gerda keypads. I only have one on this account in almost 2 years, so it's just not, I still don't think it's that worth it. It's not that great. Tier 2 currency. This is like a traffic jam. If you're endgame, oh my gosh, on my endgame account, I am picking up Zimbiddle cards, Electrum Conductors, every refresh. I'll never need them anymore. Let's go, life is good. But on this mid-game account, and I have a graphic I'll pull up, you still want to focus a lot on the Gear 12 to Gear 13, because that's still going to be a bottleneck for everyone. And the pieces you want to actually pick up, here's my graphic for the types of Gear 12 salvage that's the best value with this currency. So a low number over here is better. That's how many of the currency you need to spend to get one salvage. So surprisingly, these purple pieces of support pieces like this med pack you always need is the most expensive. So that's the last thing I'd buy with it. And then the Gear 12 left side that you need 30 of, you need 85 per salvage. So that's pretty bad. And the best value is what I call Gear 12 plus support pieces. So these are both from the same piece. It's a furnace. You need 40 of this little gold stun cuff, 50 of the furnace. And this is the best value. So first and foremost, if you need those, pick them up. If there's something you're targeting specifically, you're not working on a particular character, kind of pick these up and get a big inventory. I'd say both these are great value. Only get these if you're really desperate, which happens. I buy them, but it's just not the best value. So if you want to be efficient, this is the way to go. And if you are not really struggling to Gear 12, Gear 13 characters, or your focus is currently on getting higher relics, don't sweat it at all picking up Zimbiddles and Electrum Conductors, or don't worry about it. Like, you should pick them up. Like, it's not a bad purchase. These are really good value. They're way better value even than when they were 300. I think it's less currency per, less of the tier 2 currency per Zimbiddle and Electrum than it was in the tier 3 currency. So not only did it get moved down to a currency everyone should be able to get their hands on, it's cheaper per piece, which is awesome. And you don't have to be in a big GP guild to be farming this stuff. Everything up to Relic 7 should be really easily accessible. You just need a guild that has people participating. Even if you're in less than 100 million GP guild, you can run one of the older raids, get something, pick it up, and you're going to get the max amount of the tier 1 and tier 2 currency each round. And then the only thing you're missing out on in any high variety is Relic 8 and Relic 9 materials. It's a great deal. And then for us, the tier 1 currency, yeah, the mod stuff is worth it to pick up. If you're struggling for credits, I think that's a great choice too if you're a very beginner game. And then most of the gear, all this gear is worth it. I mean, it's all fine. The one thing is the type of gear that you buy up top, like these Mark IV back to gels. These are a little bit more expensive with the tier 1 currency, so pick them up here if you can. But you can't go wrong. I mean, this currency is like gravy. Picking up the characters is great. If you need a character, it's extremely cheap. Brand new characters, this is super favorable. General Kenobi, Han Solo, Darth Vader, still top tier characters in this game. So if you're a beginner, there's some of the highlights to pick up. I go over my recommended order at my free to play farming guide. All of this stuff is good. So you can't really go too wrong with the tier 1 currency. But make sure you are picking up every single refresh, if you're at least a mid-game character player, the Bronzium wiring, the Carbonite circuit boards, to a point. Carbonite circuit boards, and Bronzium wiring, I cannot stress enough or overstate this. I'm only 3 days in to this update as of the time of recording. I don't think I'll ever have a problem with Bronzium wiring or Carbonite circuit boards again. They were the bane of my life for farming in this game for years and years. And a lot of people, this is all you need. If you're just buying them each refresh to the point you're like, you buy them until you run out of signal data, and then you don't really have to worry about it. If you start getting extra signal data, then you come pick up more. This should never be a problem again. This is amazing. Buy it every refresh. And they're giving you 10 and 15, 10 and 15. I forget what the cost is, but it's not that bad. It's not bad. Pick them up. Carbonite circuit boards, bronze and wiring. Until you have a stockpile, you don't need them anymore. It's crazy, crazy good. And now we're finally past the large stores. Back to a simple one, Squad Arena. Main thing to focus on for anyone that has any kind of capital ship they need to unlock. You want to be buying prestige. I actually need to do that more on this account. You pick up early game, you pick up the characters you need. It's great. You know, it's easy. You don't need to worry about it. I don't really like the credits here. I think they're a little too pricey. And I used to buy these small pieces, and I just bought this one right now. And I'd convert them to relic scrap, carbonate circuit boards, but I don't think you really need to do that anymore. So I'd say don't really worry about this. Prestige is the big thing. That's the one thing that's like, it's the specialty of the Squad Arena store. Quick note after recording the rest of it, I forgot to specifically weigh in on corrupted signal data for Mark III. I think it's a pretty good value for an endgame player. I think you should only buy it in lockstep as needed if you have everything for everything else for Relic 9. Meaning it's a better value than farming the signal data, I think. Because the rest of this Tier 3 currency is just for going Relic 8, Relic 9. If you're going to Relic 10, you might as well pick that up instead of just picking up all that gear. That's mainly for endgame. I think small accounts, early game, mid game, really shouldn't be worrying about corrupted signal data much, if at all. Galactic War Store. This one is exclusively character and ship shards. Ship shards being the bigger priority. So anything you don't have, if you're a free-to-play player starting out pretty new, you want to pick these up with an emphasis on Empire and Galactic Republic ships. For me, in my opinion, in my free-to-play guide, I lay out kind of like the order I recommend. Well, it's mainly, I just say Galactic Republic and Empire fleets. Geos too, kind of, to get that, you can pick up one or two of these ships to get the early fleet arena, or the fleet challenge things, but they're not really that good. But yeah, I mean, just pick up characters you need. You can't really go wrong with this one. And after that, if you have all the characters and you just want charge up currency, you pick up the ships because you're going to get slightly more charge up currency per shipment than a character. Mods, very hit or miss. If you're an early game player, I'd say don't pick up mods. If you're a mid game player, be extremely choosy with mods. If you're a late game, end game player, pick up whatever you see that has speed. It just depends. Now we have these for the era currency. I would only be extremely selective with these. I'm saying you can pick some up. They're not a bad value if you get a good mod from them. I'm talking, maybe gold mod, or even if it's blue mod. The blue mod's a lot cheaper. So like perfect primary and set combination. You want speed guaranteed in there, and then at least one other good secondary stat. I'm talking offense percentage, health percentage, protection percentage, one of those percentages. And then for, the primaries, protection's a good primary in general, and like kind of any set, offense, and crit damage for damage sets. It's a whole big thing, but it's just like, you'd be really picky with the mods. Even for credits, if you're a newer player, you can't just go picking up everything in the store. But if you're drowning in credits, yeah, you just whatever has speed. Fleet Arena. I'm of the mind that as a new player, you want to focus on your ships and your characters first, and only then, once you have all the ones you need at 7 stars. Well, not the character, like, you don't have to get every character at 7 stars, but the important ones like Darth Vader, Razor Crest, huge priority, General Grievous, even if you're not going to farm a Grievous team, and your Galactic Republic pilots, your Empire pilots, all that, and Razor Crest is there frequently. All that you need to pick up first before you start pouring into ability material Zetas. You can get like a whole 7-star character basically almost for the price of getting enough to do one Zeta material ability application, which is 20. So really hold off as a new player on getting these. But after that, I mean, you pick up the Zeta every day as an end game or mid game player. I'm at the point now I just picked this up. So a lot of players after any point, you're just going to do Zetas. But early game, you want to pick up the characters and ships. Guild events. The values of these have somewhat indirectly shifted. So for the tier 3 currency, I'd say do not pick up Electrums or Zanbiddles anymore. Because you're going to get that with your raid currency. This is a bad value now. Early game players, heavily recommend Chirotech because you're going to need it a lot. Micro attenuators are also a great value here compared to anywhere else you buy them. So pick those up. The characters for the get 3 only if you're super desperate. Like I will eventually on this account have to pick up like Watt Timber like this because I'm never going back to Geo, which I was close. If we had a max guild, I could get it almost close in one run, but it only if you're desperate. As a new player, I think you want to pick up Negotiator with the get 2, and I think the Gear 12 plus pieces are good value. Unlike with the raid currency, you get more. It's the same cost for the primary piece and the secondary piece. So I think primary pieces are a focus. Don't pick up the finishers. You'll get enough of those from assault battles eventually. Only if you're really desperate in the very beginning. Otherwise, don't do it. Chirotech also good for pretty much any player. I'd say I was thinking for a while until this update, Chirotech. There's a certain point you don't need it on an endgame account, but now that you can scrap it for droid brains, I think everyone should be picking up Chirotech. Late game, you focus on just Chirotech and micro attenuators for the get 2 and get 3. And if you need a character, you're farming a legendary. These are almost one of the only ways to get like Wampa, Hermit Yoda. You can use raid currency for them as well, but General Skywalker's locked behind get 1, Malik as well. And if you're planning on farming these at any point coming up, you want to hoard for them. If you're a new player, otherwise, I finished Malik on this account. I have no plans to go for General Skywalker anytime soon, so I'm using it on gear, specifically Gear 12 gear, like support, purple pieces, or stuff like this. But I don't buy the lower tier like sub Gear 12 gear. Don't really buy characters and ships. It's like too valuable for currency. You want to save it up. But once you have all the key characters, use it on the Gear 12 gear, and that's guild events. Grand Arena Store. This one's pretty simple. I think for all players, the focus should be Chirotech. Even on a small mini-game account, I really hesitate to go for the finishers, although this is one of the few places you can get them, only if you're desperate. I don't think you shouldn't buy the Gear 12 or Gear 12 plus gear here. Just focus on Chirotech, and sometimes mods if you're low. The mod materials are not bad values, but it's really just Chirotech and mod materials here. Shard Shop. So this is a highly valuable resource just because of, what you're going to be getting from it. But there's actually very few things I think you should spend it on. Do not get any of the capital ships, in my opinion, because you're going to be, or not in my opinion, I think probably objectively you shouldn't do that because you can rerun the events as much as you want now when you're going to 7 stars. So I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do any characters like Vader and Grievous. No, hard pass, too expensive. What I'd say is the rule of 360. So I've purchased all 3 of these already. They each cost 360 Shard Shop currency for a pack of 4. These are Gear 12 pieces and Gear 12 support pieces. Only buy that. Even if you're a new player, only buy that. If you're not working on Gear 13s yet, I don't care. It's only buy this. The only exception, if you're trying to get a Galactic Legend in a hurry, maybe there's Grand Arena lock, you really want to use them for that week. You can hurry them up and use Charge Up currency for the Galactic Legend tickets. In general, the rule of 360. Get things that cost 360 and nothing else, pretty much. Conquest currency, this is a store, but it's really not something you should be using at all. I rarely even pop into this. This currency you should be spending in Conquest for the new character if you are on a path to unlock them. If you're not, you buy signal data, you buy Gear 12 pieces, Gear 12 plus, if you don't care about unlocking a character. So, for example, on this account, I didn't care about Jocasta, and I also didn't go for Maz Kanata, because the only way to work her in a whole team is to farm an entirely new team. That's like new characters unaccelerated, not farmable, so it wasn't worth it for me on this account. I am going for the Stranger, so I'm using this on that character. But if you're not working on the characters, just use it. It's capped off. You buy the signal data. It's not bad. So you spend this inside of Conquest. You don't really spend it in the store. So kind of just ignore this store. I mean, if you're really close to unlocking a character, and it's going to get you there sooner, pick up a new character. Like if I really wanted Maz and she was at, if I'm going to get like 25 from the next Conquest and she's at 300 flat and I buy 5, that's not bad, but it's kind of like a rare situation. Datacrons, the controversy of like 3 years ago at this point, been replaced by other controversies since then, Relic Delta being one of them. But I love Datacrons on my small account and on the main account. The biggest thing you want to buy on an endgame or late game account, data cache. Like almost every refresh, you want to pick up data cache here. You got the 100 million cap. It's so much more accessible here than anywhere else. If you farm it in Conquest, it's basically impossible. So the only way to get it for free in any kind of reliable quantity is this, and then the rollover from your old set is kind of going to give you the base. Just be mindful of not hitting a cap right as the previous set dismantles. I wouldn't buy Acumen Mark 1 with a charged up currency. I wouldn't buy anything with ally points at all in the store. Not the data cache with the ally points. Not the Datacron with the ally points. If you're desperate for a Datacron, you buy this. Like, I buy one when I'm going to make a video on the Datacron set on my main account, but they're a lot easier to farm in Conquest. Don't buy, this is not a valuable quantity. Don't buy the upgrade materials with charge up currency. The only thing you want to buy with charge up currency, other than the signal data, is reroll mats. So you want to pick these up on a late game account that needs a lot of Datacrons. I don't really do it that much on the GoTanks account. I do it as needed. If I need a reroll, okay, I'll go in and buy until I have enough to actually do a reroll. But as you can see on this is GoTanks, I get a lot more than I actually use because you can only really reroll stats at level 9. I don't really do that much. And when a set dismantles, you get a lot of this anyway. So I'm saying this is more for end game, late game, where you need a ton of Datacrons. And not everyone, not many people do that all anyway. But I think you do engage. You buy the data cache, buy the reroll mass if you're end game. On this account, I only buy the data cache as needed. I'm not stocking up to the moon. But on my main account, I do just basically every single time. And then this is the only place you can get stuff for like the old set. Like right now, it would be kind of not the best idea for a lot of this. But this is where you can exclusively buy Mark III reroll mats. And it's 600 crystals. It's very expensive. Only if you're desperate. And I was desperate on my main account. I bought this past set and it didn't work. So I just felt like it was a total waste. So it really just depends on how many Datacrons you want. But those are what the good values are. And last but not least, we have the Legends token store. These are acquired very slowly. You need Galactic Legends to farm them after Conquest sessions. For endgame players, if you have a lot of Galactic Legends, the only way to go is Omicrons. You don't look at anything else. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You just buy the Omicrons, and that's it. For a small mid-game account, there is another consideration that I have run into myself. So we sometimes get bonus drops or a community event where you get a variable amount of Conquest shards for a character. And it's not just even 20s. Proving Grounds will give you 20 shards per run. Characters unlock at 330 shards. So if you do the math, if you run 16 times, you'll get 320 and you'll be 10 away. It can be worth it to buy up to the point where you would unlock them 1 month sooner if you really want to. Trench at 203, he's 7 away. I'm not going to do that because he's not great. Cat, I did spend some of this currency on Cat to get her up to that 310 mark. I know you need to buy like 4 or 5 or 6 or something. But you got there closer. Malgus is at 291 out of 30. I would need 20 more shards to make any meaningful impact. I'm not going to do that. So Malgus stays where he is. Ben's 80 away, so it's pretty even. Not going to worry about that. You don't have every character in here. It's mainly the old ones. So like Cat's high value, Malgus is high value. It just depends. If I could buy Malikos shards here, I don't know if it cycles in or out. Like I might do that a little bit. If you're off, if you're really close, don't buy any gear, no micro attenuators. Other than that, there's very limited situations for mid-game players where you're close and you want to get to 1 month early. You do Conquest units, otherwise just Omicrons, and that's it. And that'll be it for this one. We have an ever-increasing number of currency in this game. It's a lot to juggle, so I always want to do an update on this video, on this type of video, whenever we have a new thing. So hope this helps. Hope you enjoyed. And if you have questions, leave them down below. If there's something I forgot to get to, I'll try to get to your question as soon as I can. Thanks so much for watching. See ya.